evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's session on intersection of Indian and world traditions, contemporary theatre practices, and universal well-being. It is a pleasure to have with us Dr. Venkatet Naresh Burla, Assistant Professor, Department of Performing Arts, Central University of Jharkhand, India. We welcome you, sir, and thank you for graciously accepting our invite.
Thank you.
We are deeply thankful to Dr. Ishwari Basavareddy sir, Director Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga, for providing us with consistent support, encouragement, and valuable direction throughout this endeavor. Sir's unwavering support and invaluable insights have been the source of strength for us. I also extend a warm welcome to Muhammad Tayyab Alam sir, Communication and Documentation Officer, Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga. We are grateful to you, sir, for your kind presence and valuable inputs in the program. As per the tradition of the Institute, we will begin the session with prayers. So we close our eyes and fold our hands. Asto ma sadgamaya Tamso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityurma amritam gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I again welcome the speaker of the day, Dr. Venkat Naresh Burlaji, Assistant Professor, Department of Performing Arts, Central University of Jharkhand, India. We deeply appreciate your gracious presence, sir, and willingness to share your valuable insights and experiences with us. Thank you so much for accepting our invite, sir. I would now like to request Muhammad Tayyab Alam, sir, Communication and Documentation Officer, Moraji Desai National Institute of Yoga. Sir's continuous support and steadfast assistance has been helping us in the webinar series. So I request, sir, to please introduce the speaker of the day.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Dr. Suman Rathore. Good evening, everyone. Respected Dr. Venkata Naresh Burla sir is an assistant professor in the Center for Performing Arts at the Central University of Jharkhand, Ranchi. Sir has received his MPA in Theatre Arts from University of Hyderabad and MAIPR from University of Tampere, Finland, University of Amsterdam. Sir has completed his PhD from Department of Theatre Arts, University of Hyderabad. He has worked in the lightning stream in Atak Kalari, Center for Movement Arts, Bengaluru, and Department of Theatre Arts, University of Hyderabad. To his credit, Sir has directed many plays and worked as a designer for some plays, Gopal Ki Duniya, Transformation, Macbeth, Hayabada, Urubungam are the plays directed by him in the university campus. Sir has coordinated a number of academic programs on cultural creative expressions, performing arts, and has also contributed many articles for few edited volumes while teaching in a number of theaters and technical theater workshops. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation for the 139th Friday webinar, which is quite popular among the social media friends, students, staff of the Institute. In fact, the journey of Friday webinar has started since 2nd October 2020. And since then, we are conducting this event on every Friday by inviting eminent experts of diverse fields across India and the world. With these few words, now I would like to invite today's esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Venkata Naresh Bullasa to highlight, to elaborate on today's important topic, intersection of Indian and world traditions, contemporary theatre practices, and universal well-being. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for warm welcome. So, I would like to thank Dr. Ishwar V. Baswareddy, sir, Director, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Mohammad Thiab Alam, sir, Communication and Documentation Officer, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Government of India. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity in this prestigious institute to give my uh, uh, experiences, whatever I know, a little bit about theater and well-being. So thank you so much, sir. So I'll be sharing my screen. Please confirm if my screen is visible. PPT is
Yes, sir,
visible.
it's visible.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my topic is intersection of Indian and world traditions, contemporary theater practice, and universal well-being. Intersection of Indian and world tradition refers to the meeting point or overlap between the cultural and philosophical practice to trace commonality, exchange, and influence between Indian traditions and those of other cultures around the globe. The other section, contemporary theater practice and universal well-being, refers to theater practice in the West that are inspired by Indian art forms and knowledge system and how, in general, theater is being used for universal well-being. So, intersection in terms of culture, religion, language, literature, art. India has historically been a place of contact and exchange with various civilizations and cultures from around the world. Through trade, conquest, migration, and exploration, India has interacted with different societies. If we closely look at the India's cultural exchange with various civilizations from around the world, we have to start with Indus Valley Civilization. Indus Valley Civilization is one of the earliest urban civilization in the world that flourished around 2500 BCE, had trade links with Mesopotamia and the Persian Gulf region, indicating early contact and exchange with other cultures. Through the writings of Greek historian Megasthenes, who visited India during the reign of Chandragupta Maurya in the 3rd century BCE, in his book Indica, described about geography, culture, and government of India. He also wrote about the Indian caste system, religion, architecture, etc., proved that India had contact with ancient Greece through trade and cultural exchange. One of the most significant intersections between Indian and world traditions is in the realm of spirituality and religion. India has been a birthplace for several major world religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. For example, Buddhism, which originated in India, spread to China, Japan, Korea, and other parts of Asia, where it had a significant impact on the development of spirituality and culture. The teaching of Buddha, such as mindfulness, compassion, and non attachment, have become popular worldwide, and many people practice meditation and mindfulness based on this teaching. The spread of Buddhism to other parts of Asia resulted in the development of Buddhist art, architecture, and philosophy. that have influenced numerous cultures across the region. Examples are China painting and sculpture, Japan woodblock painting. India's rich spice trade attracted traders from different parts of the world. Arab traders established maritime trade links with the western coast of India, leading to cultural exchange and the spread of Islam in certain regions. Persian culture had a significant impact during the during the reign of Mughal Empire on India. The Mughals, who were the Central Asian and Persian descent, brought Persian language, literature, poetry, music, and architectural styles. This fusion of Indian and Persian cultures is evident in the Indo-Islamic architecture, developed unique structures such as Qutub Minar, Jamia Masjid, Fatehpur Sikri, and Taj Mahal, etc. Hinduism and Indian epic-based performances. Also, India had significant cultural exchanges with Southeast Asian countries such as Cambodia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Indian art, architecture, Hinduism, and Buddhism influenced the region, as evident in the ancient temple complexes of Angkor Wat in Cambodia and Borobudur in Indonesia. Indian literature, including the ancient epic of Mahabharata and the Ramayana, has had a profound influence on neighboring countries. Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, etc., had many performances in which Ramayana and Mahabharata are main themes. Sanskrit, the ancient language of India, also had an impact on the development of language such as Thai, Javanese, and Khmer. I'd like to show a small video, which is Indonesian performance based on Ramayana.
Hujan bunga bertaburan dari langit jingga. Resi Satu Nirwana memanjatkan mantra-mantra untuknya. Kuasa pria yang tinggi yang memperdekat telinga sirup pada badan. Susah asing wartaku kami tidak bisa menghadapi. Polri, Pangdam Jaya, semua ditangkap cuma tidak bisa. Jutaan dia datang. Bagaimana sekarang dewa?
This is an example of Indian epic, which is being performed in other countries. India's classical music and dance forms have had exchanges with various cultures. For example, Kathak, a classical dance form, reflects influences from both Mughal and Persian traditions. Similarly, Indian Hindustani classical music has seen interaction with Persian, Central Asian musical styles. With the arrival of European colonial powers from the 15th century onwards, India experienced constantly cultural exchanges with the Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British in the West. The British in particular introduced Western education, legal system, governance, Western theater practice, music, architecture, Christianity, etc. So the picture here is depicting The performance is taking place in the Proscenium Theatre, and the performance on the left side is Satya Harichandra. So in post-independent era, Indian ideas and practices such as yoga, Ayurveda have gained popularity worldwide. Yoga has become a global phenomenon with millions of people practicing it worldwide. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian system of medicine, has also become popular in many parts of the world, and people use Ayurvedic remedies and practices to improve their health and well being. So, modern Indian literature, philosophy, and art have also had a significant impact on world culture. The works of Indian authors such as Rabindranath Tagore, Salman Rushdie, and Arundhati Roy have been widely read and have influenced world literature. Indian cinema, music, and dance have also gained popularity worldwide and have become an integral part of global popular culture. So, this interaction between Indian and world traditions is vast and multifaceted, encompassing spirituality, religion, philosophy, art, and culture. These examples illustrate the cultural exchanges that have taken place in India's history and India's impact on other world cultures, resulting in a diverse and syncretic cultural heritage. Interaction has enriched India's artistic, architectural, linguistic, religious traditions, making it fascinating melting pot of cultures from around the world. So, theater practices in India. Indian performance genres are vast since there is diversity in language, religion, caste, and culture. However, some commonalities can be found in the performance traditions of different regions. These performance traditions of folk and classical coexisted during the ancient period. For this, the Sanskrit text Natyashastra is the main evidence along with the other texts and plays. Natyashastra is considered as the Panchama Veda because it is the amalgamation of all four Vedas. The Vedas or Vedic Hymn are the earliest available poetic compositions contain elements of drama. The conversation in the form of dialogue between, say, Vishwamitra and the rivers Vipash and Shutudri. We call it Bias and Satluj. And a conversation between Yama and Yami, the world's only two inhabitants. A soliloquy of intoxicated god Indra are the best examples mentioned in Rigveda to trace the strong theatrical elements of magical space, action, and emotion. Kautilya, in his Arthashastra, mentions that one needs to pay 5 panas, which means ancient coins, to see a theater performance performed by traveling theater companies. So these examples, one example from Rigveda and the other one from Kautilya's Arthashastra, gives a clear indication of the understanding of the importance of elements of theater and the strong existence of a professional performance cultures in the subcontinent. When compared to other theater cultures around the world at that time, it is clear that Indian performance is far more developed, whereas the other theater cultures had yet to be born and were in their infancy. Historians, however, had been unable to establish the same quite long time. So we have a treatise on performing arts, which is Natyashastra attributed to Bharata. Sorry, let me just, attributed to Bharata. Is widely considered to be the first comprehensive treatise on performing arts, composed between 200 BCE to 200 CE, in which there is a shlok, Nata Jnanam, Nata Shilpam, Nasa Vidya, Nasa Kala, Naso Yogo, Natat Karman, Natyesmin Yenna Drishyate, which means there is no knowledge, there is no sculpture or craft, education, art, yoga or action that is not reflected in Natyasastra. So the theater is a combination of all art forms or all educations. So there are 37 chapters dealing with varieties in acting, costumes, makeup, music, and musical instruments, movement of actors and dancers, gestures and postures, rasas and bhavas, etc. in the Natya Shastra. So these two, one is square typed theater according to Natya Shastra, excavated at Nagarjunakonda, which is at Nagarjuna Sagar, a dam which is constructed on Krishna River. And the other one is Kutambalam, is one of the existing playhouses according to Natya Shastra. And Kudiyattam is one of the oldest art forms practicing Natya Shastra elements for last 1,000 years which is performed at temple theaters known as Kutambalam. So, indigenous folk forms in modern theater practice. There are, in the modern period, there are 4 directors that we used to always remember in the theater realm. Habib Tanvir, who adapted native theater traditions from Chhattisgarh. B.V. Karant, who is from Karnataka, adapted classical and folk musical elements with the contemporary theater practice. K.N. Panikkar from Kerala became a source of Sanskrit tradition. We knew that we have a lot many Sanskrit plays, but we don't have any evidence of the practice of the Sanskrit plays. Sanskrit plays were meant to be read, but they were not performed. We don't have any evidence of performance of the Sanskrit plays. So K.N. Panikkar is the director who took Sanskrit texts and performed in the Sanskrit language for the contemporary audience in the 20th century and 21st century, beginning of the 21st century. 4th one is Ratan Tiyam, who used indigenous martial arts for modern theater practice. So here I would like to show a video of Kalari Paitu, a martial art from Kerala. I'd like to show another video, which is Kutiyattam performance, a Sanskrit tradition which is being continued for last 1,000 years. my point here to show these two videos is the performers, the directors, which I have mentioned, these four directors, Habib Tanvir, B.V. Karan, K.N. Panikkar, and Ratan Thiyam, they have had a keen observation about Indian performing arts and traditional art forms, and they knew that in order to perform these art forms, an actor or performer should be mentally and physically fit. Okay, so they have to precisely know when to take breath, when to release, where to look, where not to look, with what speed they have to move, etc., etc. So these, in order to understand, of course, this Kutiyatam, in order to understand this performance, one should know the mudras. You know, uh, they are performing everything with hand gestures. So if you don't know the mudras, what they are performing, it will be very difficult for us to understand. However, the performance is interesting. Yeah. So, Indian theatre traditions by Western theatre practitioners. There are several notable theatre practitioners who have incorporated Indian traditions into their theatrical practice. Here are few examples. There are many directors, acting theoreticians who developed new acting techniques in theater, which later have been taken by movies, like Stanislavski developed realistic acting for theater, which have been taken by the movie field. Okay, naturalistic style acting is there, absurd acting is there, melodrama is there, etc., etc. Biomechanics. So there are many theater practitioners who have taken or who have inspired by most of the traditional performances of India. But here I'm referring only these three directors. The first one is Polish theater director George Grotowski, known for his innovative approach to theater, drew inspiration from Indian performance traditions. Grotowski explored elements of Indian physical theater, particularly Kathakali and Kalaripayattu. Kalaripayattu, the Namaskara movement you have already watched in his work. So he incorporated aspects of these traditions, such as precise and controlled movement, into his actor training methods, emphasizing the actor's physicality and presence on stage. The second director is British theatre director Peter Brook, has been greatly influenced by Indian theatre and philosophy throughout his career. In his groundbreaking production of the Mahabharata in 1985, Brook incorporated Indian performance elements, including Sanskrit chants, music, and stylized movements. He explored the concept of empty space from Indian aesthetics, emphasizing simplicity, concentration, and the power of suggestion in his productions. Third director is Eugenio Barba, Italian theater director, has been deeply influenced by various non-Western theater traditions, including those from India. So Barba has incorporated elements of Indian martial arts, vocal techniques, and movements and various principles into his actor training method. His work often explored the intersection of Eastern and Western performance traditions, creating a synthesis of techniques and approaches. So here I'm going to show Peter Brook's Mahabharata, which is directed by him in 1985. He cast actors from different parts of the world. So Bhima is from Africa, Draupadi is from India, and some other character is from Japan, Korea, Europe, and then some characters from America, etc., etc.
What is this mad and shameful weakness? Stand up and fight. I'm in anguish. I can't see where my duty lies. Teach me.
What is Krishna doing?
He's speaking to Arjuna.
What is he saying?
He's telling Arjuna that victory and defeat are the same. He's urging him to act, but not to reflect on the fruit of the act. He says to him, seek detachment. Fight without desire.
You say, forget desire, seek detachment. Yet you urge me to battle, to massacre. Your words are ambiguous. I am confused.
Krishna tells him, don't withdraw into solitude. Renunciation is not enough. You must act, yet action mustn't dominate you.
In the heart of action, you must remain free from all attachment.
How can I put into practice what you are demanding of me? The mind is capricious, unstable. It's evasive, feverish, turbulent, tenacious. It's harder to subdue than taming the wind.
You must learn to see with the same eye a mound of earth and a heap of gold, a cow and a sage, a dog and the man who eats the dog. There's another intelligence beyond the mind.
Passion drags us away. Darkness dulls our senses. How can I find this intelligence? With what will?
To reply to this question, Krishna led Arjuna through the tangled forest of illusion. He began to teach him the ancient yoga of wisdom and the mysterious path of action. He spoke for a long time, very long time, between the two armies preparing to destroy themselves.
So when he directed Mahabharata, I mean, when he traveled India also, most of the people, I mean, people had different opinions about the production. However, it was well received throughout the world because the philosophy of Mahabharata are the characters, what the way they are portrayed like common human being, and the philosophy is being properly executed for audience. So these theater practitioners have sought inspiration from Indian traditions and incorporated them into their theatrical practice, enriching their work with cross-cultural influence. Their exploration have contributed to the global exchange of theatrical techniques, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of diverse performance traditions. So here, the next slide is the WHO Constitution states health is a theater for universal well-being. The WHO Constitution states that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, theater for universal well-being is an approach that focuses on promoting mental, emotional, and social well-being for individual and for communities. It utilizes the power of theater as a transformative and healing art form to address and improve the overall well-being of participants and audience. Theater for universal well-being encompasses various practices and methodologies, including therapeutic theater or theater therapy. This approach uses theater techniques and exercises to promote self-expression, personal growth, and emotional healing. It can be utilized in therapeutic settings such as counseling, rehabilitation, or community support program. Community theater. Community-based theater aims to engage and empower communities by addressing social issues, fostering dialogue, and promoting inclusivity. These projects often involve collaborative processes where community members actively participate in creating and performing the theatrical work. Next one is applied theater. Applied theater refers to the use of theater techniques and practices in non-traditional settings, such as schools, prisons, healthcare facilities, or community centers. It aims to bring about positive social change, encourage dialogue, and promote well-being through participatory and interactive performances. Theatre for Development. Theatre for Development combines theatre and community engagement to address specific social issues and promote development. It involves using theatre as a tool for education, awareness, raising, and empowerment, with the goal of bringing about social transformation and sustainable development. So, Theatre for Universal Well-being recognizes the power of storytelling, creativity, and shared experiences to enhance mental and emotional health, promote empathy and understanding, and create positive social connections. By using theater as a medium, it seeks to contribute to the well-being of individuals and communities on a universal scale. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting such an engaging session. It was quite an intriguing lecture today. So, there are certain questions which we have received from our students. So, one of those is okay. So, the question is how do the contemporary theatre practices draw inspiration from different cultures to create performances? And while they also promote well being?
Okay. There is an intersection always. Is the question completed now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Um, there is an intersection always from a long, I mean, we have been under the rule of Britishers for a long time. So this intersection is there always. And we are taking elements from different parts of the world. Suppose in our theater teaching, sometimes we use Tai Chi, which is the Chinese kind of yoga or breathing exercises, right? At the same time, we teach yoga and we teach martial art. I mean, I used Paika dance, which is a traditional dance form of Jharkhand, in one of my plays. So I engaged dancers, and they came, and they were incorporated in the performance. So in such a way that the Paika dance is not only merely a dance or a traditional form, but it can be used for the contemporary performance to engage the audience, and at the same time, the contemporary audience are new coming generation, the present generation, if I say, has a, I mean, it's not a general statement, but in general, they have a notion, oh, traditional arts or performing arts, okay. The movie, which it gives, enjoyment, or OTT platform, it gives them more enjoyment, but the live performance probably is not attractive. But if you go and see those performances in live in certain states, there are certain performances that they go on throughout the night. Probably they go on for 15 days, in particular seasons. So here, what exactly is happening? We are present today. We are connected with mobiles, okay, or computers. We are not with the society, but these are the art forms make us to be with the society, because we watch the live performance not at our home, but we have to go to the performance and we have to participate in the performance. Okay, so in that way, it's a kind of, participating in the group itself is a well-being,
Right.
in a simple term.
True, sir. So there's another interesting question which we have received from one of our viewers. That is, see, you might have experienced while merging different theater traditions, that is Indian or other world traditions, there might have certain potential changes or obstacles which you might have faced. So could you please share some of them? What
I mean,
obstacles do people often face?
Definitely, it is not so easy to incorporate a different tradition into our tradition and make a performance. It's not at all easy. A simple example, you have watched Mahabharata by Peter Brook. That's actually a documentary. It was not a theater performance. First, he made it as a theater performance. Later, he made it as a documentary. So what I have presented here is a documentary. So if you see, there are different characters from different parts of India, different parts of the world. When the production means the performance, when it came to India, most of the Indians didn't like it. You know the reason? The reason is we have a notion about Krishna with issues kirit and Nemal pinch and a flute and all. Okay, and we have a notion about Arjuna. We have a notion about Duryodhan. We have a notion about Bhim, who is from Africa. With so now the body structures are quite different. Their look is different. No ornaments. They are quite common like any other. For us they are gods. But the director Peter Brook tried to see, fine, it's godly thing is okay, fine. But now the discussion is going on. Ramayana and Mahabharatas don't see or look at them as an epics. They really had happened. Right. So now Brook has seen like 35, 40 years ago, like it's they are here and they walked and they behaved like that. So this problem would be there. We may not satisfy all audience by experimenting with the different traditions, but definitely by experimenting or because of the intersection, a new form, new dialogue, new ideas will be developed.
Okay. Okay, and there is one more question. That's the last one. That is how theater practices can contribute to the overall well-being of the performers as well as the spectators from the perspective of emotional, mental, and physical health.
Theater practice, we always rehearse for like 3 months, 4 months in order to make any theater performance. So first of all, a participant who is taking part in the theater performance, they will be going under a particular training. So first of all, they will be getting training to be fit physically, because we do like Kalari Paitu, you have seen those a lot many martial art forms are there, indigenous martial art forms are there, or we practice yoga, etc., to get physical strength. Okay, and at the same time, there are a lot many exercises developed by many theater acting trainers. At the same time, we do have our own games. Through the games, we try to make them to get concentration, to have more attentiveness. Okay, so this practice itself, making a man or a person who is taking part in the theater is going to be totally fit. I mean, well, he should be well. Then only he'll be able to perform. If I am performing a particular character, but I am having a baggage of something, what had happened morning or tomorrow, what will happen for my examination, I cannot perform here properly, right? So I have to have a control over my body, at the same time over my mind. So these two, when we are well. Okay. And the second part of the question is, ma'am?
it is from the performer's perspective, as well as how it affects the well-being of the spectators.
Spectators, yes. Most of the theater performances earlier were for engaging the audience. Probably they are passive audience, or maybe the performance is itself making audience to be passive. Okay, you go and sit and watch the performance. Whereas now there are a lot many, I have mentioned about the forum theater, applied theater. Their no audience concept is not there. Spectator is the word for audience. Now the word spectator is there. So you are spectator as well as actor. You are taking part in the performance. So spectator. You are analyzing the performance, at the same time you are participating in the performance. So the applied theater technique, forum theater technique are like that only. I could not elaborate them much, I need more time, probably another half an hour to explain this.
However, you did give a very crisp answer to it. Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful lecture. It was truly a pleasure to have you today. Thank you, sir. And I also would like to express my gratitude to Muhammad Tayyab Alam, sir, Communication and Documentation Officer, for his presence and contribution to the program. Now, we will conclude the program with Shanti Path. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful to have you today. Thank you, Namaskar.